secret laboratories of North America, 3 unusual wolf cubs were born. The 2 boys who were born first were named Romulus and Remus, and the younger girl was named Khaleesi. They look like large white wolves with amber eyes and broad jaws, striking in appearance. But these 3 belong to a species that vanished from Earth 12,000 years ago. Dire Wolf, the fearsome Ice Age beast, breathes, hunts, and sleeps on living Earth once more. Today, I will show 6 ancient species that scientists are bringing back to life right now. All 6 projects are running in a Texas lab near Dallas, in the heart of the United States. One of them has already led to live offspring, and they are growing in a closed reserve. Another promises to bring back a giant by 2028 that hasn't been seen for 4,000 years. Another project was officially announced in May 2026. You've known these names since childhood, but one you might hear for the first time today. All these animals have left us forever at some point. Now, one by one, they are returning. Let's start with a name you know from childhood books and tales of distant islands. When they want to say, quote, zero in popular culture, they usually use this short word. The dodo was a flightless bird from the island of Mauritius, the size of a large turkey with a massive hooked beak. When European sailors first landed on this distant island, dodos approached them without fear. The island had no predators, and these birds simply didn't understand that humans could be dangerous. They were beaten with sticks, caught bare-handed, and crammed into ship holds as living provisions for long voyages. By the year 1681, the last dodo had died, and the species vanished from the planet forever. For centuries, the name dodo became a symbol of irreversible loss in popular culture and collective memory. At Colossal's Texas lab, scientists spent years trying to grow pigeon cells in a nutrient medium. Pigeon cells die in the dish within hours, don't even reach the first division. The team tried over 300 different combinations before one of them finally worked. In that shift, the Nicobar pigeon cells survived for the first time and split into 2 descendants. By morning, there were 4. Scientists silently watched their victory under the microscope. The Nicobar pigeon is the closest living relative of the extinct dodo in the bird family tree. In a Texas aviary, a colony of these pigeons is laying eggs, and embryonic cells are being extracted. Geneticists are rewriting these cells step by step, turning pigeon code into ancient dodo code. Then, these germ cells are put into regular chicken embryos very early in their development. Chickens become surrogate mothers for a being that hasn't existed for over 340 years. If everything goes according to plan, the first bird resembling a dodo will appear in 5 to 7 years. He will be released in a secure area of Mauritius, and time will finally come full circle. If the dodo returns through a chicken egg, the next video hero will return through a glass jar, that sat forgotten for over a century in a cabinet of an Australian museum. The thylacine became a symbol not just of loss, but of human cruelty in the history of zoology. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, looked like a mix of dog and kangaroo, with black stripes on its back. It was the last major marsupial predator of Australia, a clever, elusive hunter, and completely solitary by nature. The colonists saw him as a serious threat to their sheep, and paid for each tail of the beast they killed. By the early 20th century, the thylacine was nearly gone from the wild, forests, and mountains. On September 7, 1936, the last living thylacine died in the Zoo of Hobart. His name was Benjamin, and he died from the cold when the keeper forgot to close his cage at night. There are black and white frames showing this last of its kind yawning in an empty, solitary cage. Its mouth opens at 120 degrees, wider than any modern dog breed in the world. And this yawn, filmed a few weeks before its death, became the last image of an entire species in its lifetime. The thylacine was almost gone, and the law for its protection was passed only 2 months after Benjamin's death. Almost 90 years passed before staff at a Melbourne museum found a glass jar in one of the cupboards. Inside floated the head of the thylacine, separated from its body and forgotten in alcohol for 110 long years. Someone had completely torn the skin off the skull. The drug was terrible, and no one remembered it. From the tissues of this head, scientists extracted not only DNA, but also rare RNA fragments. This material helped create the most complete genome of an extinct animal in the history of paleogenetics. The assembly accuracy was 99.9%, higher than that of some currently living species. Professor Andrew Pask, who led the work on the thylacine, became the chief biologist at Colossal in August 2025. More than 300 gene edits were made to the genome of a small marsupial mouse related to the thylacine. This is the most extensively edited animal cell that has ever existed on our planet. They are returning, and this time, history is ready to correct its old and bloody mistake. Everyone in science knew the name of the thylacine. Almost no ordinary person knows the name of the next animal. And it is with him that the freshest page in the modern science of bringing back extinct species begins. The blue wildebeest, or bluebuck, is an elegant antelope from South Africa with a very unusual silvery coat. Translated from the local language, his name simply meant blue goat or silver goat. This antelope had a silvery blue shimmering coat, slender twisted horns, and remarkably quiet eyes. It lived in the pastures of southern Africa for millennia until the first European colonists arrived. They didn't eat it, they barely used it for anything. The colonists killed these antelopes purely for sport. By 1800, not a single living individual of this antelope species remained in the wild. Today, in Leiden, Paris, Vienna, and Uppsala, dusty glass displays of old museums stand silent. Each one holds a complete skin of a blue cantharid, with its head bowed low to the ground. Only 4 such skins remain globally. No other scientific traces of this species exist. They took tissue from these to extract DNA from the last members of this extinct species. In May 2026, a major announcement was made that resonated throughout the scientific world. The bluebuck becomes Colossal's 6th official project in its species restoration program. Scientists are in the final stages of editing this ancient African antelope's genome. The next step will be to transfer the edited embryos into a living relative of the blue antelope. By the year 2028, the birth of the first baby through a surrogate mother is expected. He will grow up in a protected reserve in South Africa under the watch of local authorities. And then, for the first time in over 2 centuries, the blue goat will raise its head above the tall grass. Have you ever heard that such an animal once existed? Let us know in the comments if this was news to you. If this dive into modern labs interests you, subscribe to the channel. The next video will go even deeper. And now, the story is no longer just a plan or a project. It becomes a living, tangible reality we can touch. Because the 4th hero of this video is already running on the ground, eating fresh meat, playing, and hunting. Scientists took DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull. Then, 14 key genes were rewritten in the cells of a common, modern gray wolf. 2 out of 3 dire wolves, Romulus and Remus, were born on October 1st, 2024. Their youngest sister, Khaleesi, was born on January 30th, 2025. They grew up on 2,000 acres of a private landscape reserve, surrounded by a high 3-meter fence. A team of 10 people looks after them around the clock, but they don't let any outsiders near them. When the puppies were just 6 months old, they weighed 36 kilograms and were 1 meter 20 long. Now, Romulus and Remus have grown to nearly 2 meters tall. That's larger than any modern breed of wolf by a quarter. The company's lead scientist, Dr. Beth Shapiro, admits one important thing about the project. These 3 are not a 100% accurate copy of the fossil dire wolf, because such a copy is fundamentally impossible. These are gray wolves, whose genome has rewritten 14 genes to show 20 traits of an ancient species. They are white in color with a wider head, powerful jaws, and a distinctive howl that is unlike that of a regular wolf. Scientists call this functional de-extinction. It's not an exact copy, but a living creature with traits of the lost species. Romulus and Remus lived separately from their younger sister in different parts of the large reserve. Then the keepers started to bring them closer through a clear net, first for 5 minutes a day, then longer. And in the end, Khaleesi was permanently moved to live with the brothers. Today, all 3 wolves live as one true pack. They eat together, sleep together on the same bedding, and together try to hunt deer within their reserve. The team even discovered that these wolves feed in a rather unusual way, unlike all modern wolves. They starve for several days in a row and then eat an entire hindquarter of a deer carcass at once. Their ancestors did this in the Ice Age wilderness tens of thousands of years ago. They are returning for real, not on paper, not in a hypothesis, not in a movie, but in flesh and warm blood. If the fourth story impressed you, the fifth will make you recline and close your eyes for a second. Imagine a living bird, 3 meters and 60 centimeters tall from the ground to the top of its head. This is above any person, above most basketball players on the planet, almost like a basketball hoop over their heads. This is the moa, a giant flightless bird from the archipelago of New Zealand in the southern Pacific Ocean. 6 centuries ago, moas roamed the thick forests of these islands and ate green leaves from trees. They had no wings at all. They didn't even have wing vestiges under their feathers, which is a very rare trait. When the Polynesian Maori tribes first arrived in New Zealand on their boats, the moa were not afraid of anyone. In about 200 years, all 9 species of moa were completely exterminated by humans for their meat and large eggs. Skeletons of these giants remain in the caves of the South Island, their bones never turning to stone. One man, obsessed with these birds since childhood, Sir Peter Jackson, director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. In the basement of his New Zealand home, he keeps about 4,500 moa bones. He started collecting them as a child, long before The Hobbit or his first Oscar. The bones are arranged on shelves in a strict order known only to the collection's owner. In July 2025, Sir Peter Jackson became an investor in the project to bring back the moa. He handed over his personal collection to the scientists at Colossal for extracting ancient DNA from old bones. They involved the Ngai Tahu people, the original owners of New Zealand's South Island and guardians of the land. The team is currently compiling reference genomes for all 9 known species of giant moa. By the summer of 2026, the first complete genome of the largest species is expected to be completed. As a surrogate, they consider the tinamu, a small South American bird genetically close to the ancient moa. The company's head, Ben Lamb, says he wants to see a living moa in less than 10 years. Peter Jackson himself hopes to see this giant with his own eyes even sooner, in the very near future. And when a 3-meter bird once again steps through the New Zealand forest, it will be a sight impossible to forget. And now we approach the loudest project of all 6, the very purpose of this company's existence. This is the project for which Colossal was essentially founded back in 2021. The woolly mammoth, a giant of the Ice Age, vanished from the Earth around 4,000 years ago. The last mammoth population lived out its days on Wrangel Island in the cold waters of the Arctic Ocean. They died at a time when the Great Pyramids were being built in Egypt and the first writing emerged. To understand what these scientists promise, imagine just one simple and clear number. The genome of the modern Asian elephant matches that of the woolly mammoth by 99.6%. There are so few differences that they could theoretically be rewritten by hand in a lab. More than 200 scientists and engineers are working on this in a 5,000 square meter laboratory in Dallas. They have collected over 50 complete mammoth genomes from bones found in Siberian permafrost. In one of the Texas enclosures, hundreds of laboratory mice sit with long, golden red wavy fur. These are woolly mice that had 7 key genes from mammoths added, setting them apart from modern elephants. Their fur is passed on, and today, several generations of golden mice live in this colony. This is the first living colony of creatures in history with actual woolly mammoth genes inside their DNA. Scientists call this experiment a proof of concept. The technology really works on a living organism. The next important step is already underway. The team is in the final stages of editing cells. Next, the edited embryo will be placed into the womb of an Asian elephant, the mammoth's closest living relative. The pregnancy of an elephant lasts 22 long months, longer than any other land animal on Earth. And if everything goes according to plan, the first mammoth calf will be born by 2028. This will be the first woolly giant on our planet in over 40 centuries of waiting and silence. They are returning, and the largest among them is still ahead, in the very near future of humanity. In this video, I want to ask you a very important and difficult question. Do we even have the moral right to bring back to life those whom nature has already erased from its book? Ben Lamb, founder of Colossal, articulates his position very concisely and clearly to the public. According to him, humanity doesn't kill off species forever. We simply postpone their extinction. Scientists from conservation groups respond sharply. Each returned species is a flashy public relations move. Every endangered species alive today is left without money, attention, or a chance for salvation. Biologists present another argument, one that is colder and more precise in its essence. Dire wolves lived in an era when mammoths, bison, and saber-toothed cats roamed the same plains. These plains and this fauna simply don't exist anymore. The reintroduced species might be superfluous. In the worst case, it will become invasive and strike at the ecosystems that have survived. And the main fear of many people, a technology that brings back the dead could fall into the wrong hands. Today, scientists are carefully recreating one wolf. Tomorrow, someone will want to recreate something much more dangerous. Which of these camps do you belong to? Write your choice in the comments in one short line. Perhaps we've just stopped believing that extinction is a final and irreversible verdict. Maybe progress isn't about inventing new things, but our ability to reclaim and preserve the old. When one of these 6 animals opens its eyes in the wild again, the world will be a little different. They are returning right now, not in a dream, not in a movie, not in the pages of a fantasy book. This is happening right this minute in one of the protected laboratories of our shared world.